Perimenopause, let's have the conversation, shall we? If you're a woman who's currently navigating that sacred transition from mother or woman into wise woman through the menopause and the perimenopause phase, this episode is the conversation you need to hear, because there is a lot of talk collectively about menopause and perimenopause and about it needing to be something that we manage, that it's a problem for women. And this is actually the wrong conversation, because what you're entering in when you transition from whether it be mother or woman into perimenopause, the premenopause stage and menopause stage, is one of the most powerful transitions that women can go through. And yet it's something that women are collectively carrying shame, uncertainty, that you need this supplement, that you need to take all the peptides and blah, 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 blah. However, no one is telling you the sacredness of what you're about to experience. And so today I'm going to be sharing my very real experience into perimenopause. And I'm not going to sprinkle this with toxic positivity. There are real changes in the body. Just like when a girl becomes a woman and has her period cramping is a thing. And the same when we enter the perimenopause and the menopause phase. The body changes. And so we get to change with it, evolve our lifestyle, and work out a way that we can co-inhabit our body in a way that is cohesive, nourishing, and supportive of what we need in this cycle of life. So welcome back to the Ghislain Maiden podcast, the home of erotic leadership, where your pleasure is the pathway to your power and your frequency the key to unlock your millions. I'm Ghislain, and together let's turn yourself on and activate the frequencies of success so that you can rise with undeniable power, presence, and influence, and have a little bit of fun while doing it. About 2 years ago, I said to my pelvic floor practitioner, I think I'm about to enter the perimenopause phase. Now, I'm very in sync with my body, so I know when things are changing. Energetically, I can feel the shifts. She said, okay, what makes you think that? And for me, my period is pretty much bang on every 28 days, unless I'm pregnant or I'm under extreme stress or illness, which doesn't happen very often. But there are a few moments over the past couple of years where out of the blue, my period has been shorter, the date has changed, that is not consistent with the data that I have, where I have been personally tracking my period for around 10 years. And then I just had this sense that my body was changing, that I was evolving into a new evolution of who I am as a woman. And this is really what I want to speak about today, because yes, your body changes. Yes, when you enter perimenopause and menopause, different things start to happen that you get to work with. But it's not something that needs to be managed because there is something wrong with you. You're actually about to enter your most powerful, your most unapologetic phase. And this is the conversation that we need to be having. Not just focusing on your evolution as a woman and it being a problem, because it's not. It's there for you to embrace, understand, and unapologetically own the changes in your body. So often as we grow and age through life, these sacred cycles that women go through, they're not celebrated. We transition from a child into a young woman through our bleed. And instead of that being ceremonialized and really understanding the sacredness of what it means to be a woman who bleeds, to be a woman who births life into this world, it's something that women carry a lot of shame around. And just like in perimenopause, when the body changes, when you get your period, some women will experience breast swelling, really bad cramps. And what they're actually more pointing to are signs of misalignment. I know so many women who have been told they need to have hysterectomies, who have been told there is no cure for their debilitating period pain, who, through diet, exercise, and lifestyle changes, have completely freed themselves from the symptoms that they've once found debilitating. And for me, perimenopause feels like this kind of change. And I totally respect a woman who feels like she's needing medical support for this time. I'm just here to have a different conversation for what we are seeing in the collective. And so there is all these sacred changes that women go through, from a young girl to a young woman, when that young woman becomes a mother or not. And none of them are celebrated. In fact, every time a woman changes, it's kind of her becoming more invisible. My pathway into parenthood and becoming a mother is very different to most women. And so I didn't experience a lot of this. But what I'm seeing from my friends who are birthing children now is this feeling of being invisible, this feeling like their role as a woman is not relevant unless it's to do with the child. And the way that perimenopause is being marketed is exactly the same thing, and it's wrong. Because let's break down spiritually and energetically what happens when a woman enters perimenopause. She moves from maiden energy into wild, wise woman energy. These are the women who, when women ruled, were the shamans, were the people that the collective went to for advice, for her wisdom. They were worshipped because of the wisdom that they carried. It is a point where, as a woman, you become more sexually liberated because you don't have to worry about childbirth, because your childbearing years are behind you. And so there is a deeper ownership of your eroticism, your sensuality. But instead of embracing this change and seeing it as you entering your most powerful era, women are being told that they need to be on this supplement, that this needs to be managed, that da-da-da-da-da. And it is a very, very clever marketing technique from structures that only want to benefit from you being disempowered. Now, that doesn't mean that the body doesn't change. It does. At the moment, the thing that I am finding the most difficult is the night sweats. Now, I'm someone who sleep has always been somewhat elusive to me, and I've always been someone who runs quite cold, always been quite cold-blooded. So this being hot all the time is a new experience. I'm not going to lie. And waking up in the middle of the night where I am so hot that I just want to rip all my clothes off me is something that I had never experienced before. And so I'm looking in, how can I work with that? What is the routines that I need to put in place that allow me to regulate my body temperature through the night? And so what I found works the best is having a fan on. Even though it's the middle of winter here in Melbourne, I'm sleeping with a fan on and I'm finding it's helping. Now, there can be a loss in libido, but if you don't nurture your self-pleasure practice, if you don't nurture your eroticism, of course, it's not going to be there. And one thing that I did notice was the vaginal dryness. And so instead of just allowing that to be there, I doubled down on my self-pleasure practice. And I've found that my libido has increased. And so collectively we get this messaging that we're getting old, that our role as women are less important, that we're not as sharp as we used to be. And I just do not subscribe to this, because as a woman, I feel more empowered than ever. I feel more sexually liberated than ever. I feel more wise than ever. Sometimes I will take a little longer to respond. And is that such a bad thing? You see, you're being marketed to by people who only want to sell you something, that your perimenopause and your menopause is a problem, when it is the path of a woman who truly owns her power, who has reclaimed it from the years when she was raising children, who can be sexually liberated. You give less fucks. I have a 21-year-old. There is no way I would want to go back into maiden energy, because there's a lack of confidence. There's an insecurity that I see amongst younger women, that as you get older, you don't have that. You don't care. I read an article recently that women in their 40s and 50s are the most happiest. One of the reasons is we give less fucks about what other people think of us. And so there's a really important reframe that we get to have collectively about perimenopause and menopause. And that is not one of shame, that there is something wrong with you. Are there changes? Yes. May things need to be adjusted in your body to support you during those changes? Yes. Does that mean there's anything wrong with you? No. Are you just transitioning through a sacred cycle that you are meant to come in here and experience because you were born a woman? Yes. And more importantly, it's an opportunity to trust yourself. What is fascinating was, as soon as I said to my doctor, oh, I think I'm entering perimenopause, the prescription was, oh, I want you to go have these tests and you might have to go on this medication and do. And I'm just like, I don't think I need any of that right now. Now, I will probably get my hormones tested, because I do think that that is a really valuable exercise, so that I can supplement and see what my body needs to nourish her so that I can thrive. What I will not be doing is taking medication. Now, this is no offense to you if that is, you think that is the best choice for you. But what I have found with long-term medication use is that there are so many adverse side effects that there are other ways to manage things like perimenopause. That is a change in your body. And so that is the pathway I'm going to go down first. And I would love to know what you think about this, because as women, I'm really fucking tired of collectively us feeling like we have to carry shame because we go through different cycles that men, that patriarchy, that people that aren't born women will never fucking understand what that is like. And that doesn't actually make you and there be anything wrong with you. It just means that you're a woman, that you have a different cycle, that you get to cycle through all these beautiful changes that your body goes through. And through each change, there will, of course, be peaks and things that are wonderful. And then there will be the challenges of that. We live in a society that is full of polarity. But when a woman enters menopause and perimenopause, she is entering her most powerful era. And I feel that. Energetically, I've never felt better. I'm more sure of myself. I give less fucks. I'm more connected to my eroticism, my confidence. I walk into a space and I don't care what anybody thinks of me, as long as I'm tapped into what feels good for me. This is a very different contrast to 28-year-old Ghislain. When a woman breaks free of societal expectations, of chronic people pleasing, of satisfying everyone else but her fucking self, this needs to be celebrated and ceremonialized, not something that we carry shame about and we try and hide away from. So if you're there, know I'm there with you. I don't have it all figured out, but I'm going to keep speaking about this because I think it's a really important conversation. And I'd love to know how this landed for you in the comments. I would love you to be able to reclaim this sacred phase that you are walking through as a woman right now, from when you're going from maiden or mother into wise, wild woman, to be one of deep empowerment, embodiment, and devotion to you becoming the woman your soul always destined you to become. So instead of carrying shame, allow yourself to open to the true ecstasy that is life. Allow yourself to reclaim your pleasure, because now you can have as much pleasure as you like, and you don't have to worry about giving birth. Do it safely, please. But there's something really liberating about that, right? Something liberating about a woman who knows and trusts herself, who's in her body. And so there is so much magic in this phase. And so let me know in the comments how this landed for you, what you want to know more on. If you want to hear any more on my specific journey through this, I'm so happy to share. And this is the work that we do in Erotic Evolution. We tap into your body, into your connection to your eroticism and what it means to be a woman through all seasons of life, so that you can break free from all the societal conditioning and love and live and lead unapologetically. So if that sounds like you, book your call in the link below, and I'll see you next week.